Yeah, I think it's going to be the two of us. Fabulous. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And oh, sorry, your mic is over here. Oh, I've got one for you. Sorry about that. And, yeah, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and the film that you came with and your role, that'd be fabulous.
Sure, I'm Ms. Hernandez. I am the director and co-writer of Madrina, and the writer-producer is out there with the camera taking pictures. Miguel Silveira, my partner in life and in filmmaking.
Fabulous. I like to start off the Q&As that I do just with a simple one, which is how did this film come to be, and when did you first decide to tell this story?
That's a fun one to tell. So the actress in the film is my cousin Magdalise, and when she graduated high school and was accepted to an acting program at Syracuse, I told her that for her graduation present, I was going to make a short film with her as the star that would double as her graduation present for high school and for college, because I really wanted her as a young woman, as an actress, to have a first experience on set with somebody who loved her, who wasn't trying to take advantage of her as an actor and a person, but also somebody who would allow her to ask questions and be nurtured in that environment, because she comes from a theater background. And then we also got to collaborate because she's my baby cousin, even though she's a grown woman now. So that's how the idea of it started. And then she was in her junior year, and my partner was like, you owe Magdalise her movie still. She's home for Christmas break, let's do it now. So we designed the project to showcase her, and it came together the week of Christmas. We came up with the idea of what would be a nice dramatic vehicle, because she's a great comedian and has been acting in comedic roles for a long time. So we wanted to show her chops. And so we came up with the simple idea of a woman coming home for Christmas when she's no longer welcome. And then that's what inspired the story.
I mean, what a fabulous graduation present, and I mean, kudos to you, and kudos to her, because, I mean, she's so good in the film, and I would have guessed that she was already a much more established actress because of the way that she handles, I mean, just being on screen for almost the entire film, and just the different, I don't know, way that we navigate this journey with her is like, you can just see the way that things change her and the journey she goes through, so. Yeah, please let her know for us that she did such a good job.
Absolutely.
I also wanted to ask what it's like working with Miguel, and how long have you been working together, and what's your process like together? You just touched on it a little bit, but yeah, how do you guys move through your projects together?
Well, this film, we actually switch roles. Usually I'm the writer-producer for the things that he directs. We've made 2 feature films together. And then he is the producer of my feature film in development, and a lot of the creative work, I think a lot of the directing happens in the planning and the writing of a project. We've been working together for 10 years. We started dating 10 years ago. We just celebrated last week. August 8th was our anniversary. And I started working on his first feature about 3 weeks after we started dating, and I was like, oh, this is probably a bad idea, but we'll see what happens, and it worked out. But we met on set in grad school, so we had known each other for several years and had been working together in school projects before we started dating.
It's awesome, and 10 years, I mean, clearly it was a good idea.
Yes, it worked.
Yeah, and I think it's always really cool. I was able to speak to also a husband and wife directing team last year, and it's always, I think, really interesting when you have those close relationships that are also creative partnerships, and that I think it can lend itself, especially with such an intimate film, probably like just having that comfort with each other. And you mentioned in your director's statement that society has trouble seeing survivors, and many people's instinct is to look away and to not kind of face this head on. And I just wanted to ask, how does this inform your formal techniques? Because you know, we never actually see the faces of Jessica's family. There's these great shots of their eyes, but yeah, we never get to see. We're seeing her reaction to them and not their faces, except for Madrina's face, obviously. And I wanted to just, can you speak about how and why you came to some of those more formal decisions?
One of it was a technical thing that no one else in my family was a trained actor, and we had very little time to shoot it. But then I realized in that process of not having the cutaways for other people's reactions, we are forced to really sit with her, and we're not looking for other people's reactions to inform whether or not we believe her story or her experience, because there isn't an instinct to be like, oh, what does that person think? And we're deciding what we think based on that reaction shot. And I think there might be a correlation, I haven't done the full research on it, of when we're looking on-screen representation of survivors. I feel like narratively they're often used as an inciting incident where someone's going to avenge their honor, or some other hero comes in to intervene in their story. And I'm much more interested in staying with their survivor and watching them navigate their way out, or navigate who they're going to become, or becoming the hero of their own story. And this is a drama, it's very simple, and we're watching this person who really wants to forgive and be part of a family that isn't ready to see her yet.
Yeah, and that it's not defined by her. I think a lot of times in stories about survivors, you get, like you're saying, the inciting incident, and also this I don't know, you lose this sense of hope that I think comes through in your film as well, and the sort of tenderness of that she is, especially, at Christmas and in this intimate relationship with her family, kind of trying to come through and reestablish community, and how she can not be alone in this, and how she can kind of redefine her place in the world. And I was really loving that the ending seems to be centered around Jessica's kind of turning outward towards a community that's outside of the family that has denied her this relief. And I wanted to ask, before we open it up to the audience, just what do you hope people will take away from the film, and what was the significance of this ending for you? Because you have this also political connection that kind of bookends the film, of that she's turning to these homeless migrants as well, and that she's kind of finding this purpose maybe outside of the family that's denied her. And I was wondering what that ending meant to you.
I think when we were making the film, I was really overwhelmed with the idea of Christmas and nativity scenes, and there being such a direct parallel with people who are trying to save their families or just be able to survive in places that they can no longer return to. And wanting to layer that into the story, and the contrast of a family that doesn't want to receive one of their own anymore, and a family that's just looking for safety. I really hope, and I think we had a screening of this in Minnesota earlier in the year, and some people approached me afterwards, not the same story, but like coming out stories where there's that one person that still sees you and accepts you and loves you no matter what, and how powerful it is to have that one person or be that one person for someone, because it is life affirming, and even just the memory of I know somebody out there loves me and believes me can be the thing that keeps you going, or makes you not give up hope, but find other ways of giving, and ways of being, and not hardening, but softening and just expanding, instead of retreating into yourself or accepting to be verbally abused or emotionally abused. You can find other ways to heal and create community.
Yeah, it's so powerful, that moment with Madrina, how that nonverbal communication that is so, I love how, again, formally, that it's just so creative that they don't actually have to speak to each other, but they receive this message between each other. And like you're saying, that is able to open Jessica up, and she kind of almost blooms from there and is able to spread that love to other people. It's just so powerful, and I love that moment. And the music also, it's well scored. It's fabulous.
Thank you so much. We love our composer.
Kudos to them as well. I want to open it up now if anyone in the audience has a question for Missy. Okay. Thank you all so much for being here, and thank you,
Thank you so
Missy, so
much.
much for joining us and speaking with us today.